There was like a 3 to 4 month window when Incredibles 2 got a small but vocal backlash. And I'm guessing it's not because of the hype, but because Into the Spider-Verse came out. And since the Academy always picks the Pixar movie for Best Animated Feature, most just assumed Incredibles would win, and were ready to bitch about it. But then Spider-Verse did win, and so everyone can calm down and realize Incredibles 2 is a great movie, probably one of the most solid sequels. Shortly after defeating the Underminer, that leads to a lot of collateral damage, giving more reason for the government to shut down the superhero relocation program, thus leaving the Parr family with no financial help. To help them out, siblings Winston and Evelyn Dever want to use Elastigirl to boost public trust in superheroes. Well, that's working out pretty well. Mr. Incredible is having some trouble adjusting to being a stay-at-home dad, unable to go out and fight as he's more prone to causing damage. At the same time, a new villain called the Screenslaver is causing trouble, hypnotizing people using some strobe effects that have been known to cause seizures in some people. So if you're prone to those, just fair warning. So I rewatched both this and the first movie back to back, and here is one thing I noticed. These are much more adult than a lot of family films today. Not just in the jokes, there's plenty of silly moments in them for kids, not just in the fact that they focus on adult characters with themes more adults relate to, and not just because both have quite a bit of violence and death, but I mean in the pacing. These are much slower paced than a lot of family movies, not just today, but for a while. Both of them push 2 hours, both have a lot of dialogue scenes, quiet dialogue scenes, compared to a lot of DreamWorks, Illumination, or even other Disney and Pixar movies. Yeah, they'll have quiet moments in movies that are usually very quick. These two have quick moments in movies that are pretty mellow. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I actually kind of respect them for it, but I'll say this. When I saw this in the theater, it was packed with kids under 10 because some day camp decided to bring them in. At first I was kind of excited. So many kids in a family movie, it might make the experience more entertaining. Them having fun and laughing and cheering might make the movie better. No, they were obnoxious. There was always talking. Unless an action scene was happening or something silly and funny, they wouldn't shut up. Some of them honestly seemed kinda bored, which I guess makes sense. A lot of them are more used to fast-paced movies, and I think as they grow, they'll be more invested. But anyway, most of what worked in the first movie is still good here, and some things even got upgraded. The animation is freaking phenomenal. The first movie still looks pretty good, despite being almost 20 years old. But seeing this shows how far CG has come. The character models are great. There's a lot more detail in the clothes, hair, and backgrounds, while still keeping the same style. The action scenes are also great. They're fast, they're creative with the use of all their powers, and once again, this family is very likable. I like their camaraderie and they feel like a genuine family that just happens to have superpowers. But also, it spreads out the focus more. The first film is definitely Mr. Incredible's movie, with him having the biggest arc and the most screen time. In this, all of them get to do stuff. Elastigirl goes out and fights and actually likes the positive attention and action. Violet has boy problems. Even Jack-Jack gets some development. The fight with the raccoon is one of the funniest scenes in a movie of the past decade. I nearly pissed myself when I first saw that. Mr. Incredible still does have one of the biggest arcs. He feels inadequate as he's basically being a stay-at-home dad while his wife gets to go out and do some superheroing. But seeing him bond with the kids is really sweet. We don't get a lot of father-daughter moments in movies, so the stuff with him and Violet is really cool. And thank you for not making him an idiot or incompetent at this. I am so sick of that trope of fathers not knowing how to do stuff at home. The first film has gotten some backlash for its sort of Ayn Rand exceptional people should be allowed to do whatever they want without government intervention themes. It seems they're trying to be a little more nuanced here. They do bring up that their actions do cause a lot of damage, but also that laws can prevent good people from doing good. You can say that's Randian, but the law also has been used in real life to stop real progress from happening. The comedy is good. Edna Mode is still hilarious. It has some nice drama. It even manages to have some more diversity and expand on the world of superheroes the first film established. established. So this movie seems to do almost everything right that the first movie did and even improve on a few things. So is this one of those sequels that's even better than the original? Well, not quite, because there is one problem, and it is a noticeable one, and that is the villain. The villain, Screenslaver, isn't necessarily bad. They have a pretty good motivation, and the way they use technology to control people is pretty cool and sometimes a little creepy. But their plan to get rid of superheroes seems unnecessarily complicated. However, that's not what the biggest issue is. You may notice I'm trying really hard not to spoil much about the villain, and that's because it's a twist villain. You may remember Disney did this a lot in the 2010s. Pretty much every movie they did from 2012 to 2018 had one of these. And I think this was the last one. It's not the worst one of them, but it's certainly not the best. The problems with it is that, one, it's incredibly obvious. The second this character appears on screen, I'm like, that's the bad guy. And then once it's revealed, they just get kinda boring. Coming off the first movie, where Syndrome was so much fun, this villain is just a huge letdown. But that's really the only problem I have. Again, besides maybe some of the seizure-inducing visuals, this is a great sequel that actually manages to live up to 14 years of hype. I give it a 9 out of 10. Again, proceed with caution if you are sensitive to flashing lights, but besides that, a really, really solid sequel. And so far, that's the last movie Brad Bird has done. His next is supposed to be something called Ray Gun. I don't know what it's about, when it'll be out. It doesn't even have a Wikipedia page as of this recording, but here's hoping it's another great one. Anyway, tomorrow we head back to Kevin Smith in the View Askew universe to see what shenanigans Jay and Silent Bob are up to. See you then.